The League of Shadows has been a check against human corruption for thousands of years.
Welcome to another thrilling episode by Marvelous Videos. I'm your host Gemma, and today I'll be taking you through all about the League of Shadows. What if I told you that there exists an ultra-secret fundamentalist organisation filled with highly trained assassins who genuinely believe that they are the saviours of humanity? This doesn't exist in the real world, of course, but it certainly does in Batman's universe of shadows and ruthless villains. Calling itself the League of Shadows, or alternatively, the League of Assassins, this supposedly benevolent group of individuals is notorious for harbouring some of the deadliest villains in the DC universe. While casual consumers of Batman content may not be very familiar with the League's operations, the fans, more well versed with Batman lore, know that while he despises this clan of skilled villains, he also respects it just as much. Created by Denny O'Neal and Neal Adams and led by Ra's al Ghul, this group makes recurring appearances in a number of DC comics. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
I am the League of Shadows. I am here to fulfill Ra's al Ghul's destiny.
Society of Shadows and other forms of League of Shadows in the DC animated universe. The League of Shadows, Ra's al Ghul's organisation, is what inspired the Society of Shadows, an organisation created to achieve Raz's one true life purpose of returning the planet to its original, clean and unadulterated state, and undoing all of humanity's pollution and destruction to it, even if it meant the extinction of humanity in order to achieve it.
Every time a civilization reaches the pinnacle of its decadence, we return to restore the balance.
It was supposedly formed sometime in the 1800s, or possibly even before that. The organisation's name, the Society of Shadows, is first mentioned in Batman, the animated series, in which it is under the leadership of Count Vertigo. It also appears in the Demon's Quest Part 1 and Part 2, Showdown and Avatar, but this time under Ra's al Ghul's leadership. The organisation was massive and influential, with branches that further extended its control all over the world. It was made up of people who were highly loyal to Raz's, including highly skilled assassins, spies, scientists, and warriors. It also appeared to have a massive system of intelligence and tremendous resources. Ra's was able to uncover Batman's true identity thanks to this group, mainly because his organisation simply determined which of the affluent Americans' habituality amassed the type of technology and equipment that a technologically advanced vigilante like Batman would require. The Society of Shadows, under the leadership of Talila al Ghul, also makes an appearance in Superman, the animated series, in the episode titled The Demon Reborn. The DC Comics have revealed that the League of Shadows has, on occasion, collaborated with the Society of Shadows. Other versions of this league also exist, with the original version being called the League of Assassins. The League of Shadows was previously known as the League of Assassins in the Batman comics. The League of Assassins is a group of highly skilled assassins led by Ra's al Ghul, who was also once Batman's trainer.
You know how to fight 6 men. We can teach you how to engage 600. You know how to disappear.
It has been mentioned in the cartoon series, animated DC movies, and even in the Arrowverse. Both names have been used in the DC comics in the past, most notably in the post-DC Rebirth era. It was during this time that the two leagues became distinct entities, with the League of Shadows serving as the more secretive and clandestine of the two, and Ra's al Ghul leading the more well-known League of Assassins. The League of Assassins famously makes its first media appearance in the animated TV series Batman, the Brave and the Bold in the episode titled Sidekicks Assemble. The League is also featured in the animated series titled Beware the Batman. It also appears in multiple TV shows set in DC's Arrowverse. It is first named in Season 2 of Arrow, but is represented by Malcolm Merlyn in Season 1 itself. It also makes an appearance in DC's spin-off show Legends of Tomorrow in the episode titled Left Behind. It is also referenced in the Black Lightning episode titled The Book of Ruin, Chapter 2, Theseus' Ship. The League of Assassins also appears in a number of films set in the DC animated movie universe like Batman, Bad Blood, Teen Titans, The Judas Contract, Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, and Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, in which is led by Damian Wayne and Lady Shiva. It also makes a surprising appearance in DC's crossover movie Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The League of Assassins makes appearances in a variety of DC video games, including Lego Batman, the video game, DC Universe Online, Batman Arkham City, and Batman Arkham Knight. Terry McGinnis, who is to be the future Batman, faces Curie, the deadliest member of the Society of Assassins, a guild of ninja assassins for hire in the future shown in the animated TV series Batman Beyond. Devon, the master assassin, is this society's leader. This marks the League of Shadows' first appearance under this name. The Society of Assassins also reappears in Season 2, where it is left in shambles, with no one taking over as leader following Devon, the master assassin's memory wipe.
I've had training. The training is nothing. The will is everything.
Exploring the origin and development of League of Shadows in Nolan-verse. Many fans of the DC comic verse find themselves perplexed as to why the League often adopts different names throughout different historical periods and mediums in their universe, like in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, where he first refers to the group as the League of Shadows rather than its original title, League of Assassins. As an explanation for why he made the decision to change the League's original name, Christopher Nolan stated that when he began developing his own Batman universe, he changed the League of Assassins to the League of Shadows because he didn't want to give readers the perception that Batman chose to train with the assassins to address his inner struggles. The League of Shadows sounded more intriguing and gave readers the sense that they were mostly highly adept ninjas with morals rather than just assassins. In the Nolan-verse, 30 years before the story of The Dark Knight Rises began, a foreign mercenary in an archaic portion of the world was exiled by his warlord for marrying the warlord's daughter. The mercenary's pregnant wife was also imprisoned in the pit in equal punishment to his banishment. The mercenary rose to become Ra's al Ghul, the League of Shadows commander, and his young daughter Talia made her way back to him after escaping from the pit. The League invaded the pit she was held captive in to get revenge for Ra's al Ghul's wife's murder in there. During this invasion, they liberated a convict named Bane, who had guarded the commander's little daughter during her time in prison. The League then went on to train both Talia and Bane, but Ra's al Ghul soon banished Bane for reminding Ra's of the horrors he'd left his wife to die in and for falling in love with Talia. Talia was never able to truly accept her father's decision for as long as he was alive. The League of Shadows is an old and powerful secret society that firmly believes it can restore global equilibrium through purges at various select moments in history.
He sacked Rome, loaded trade ships with plague rats, burned London to the ground.
The League targets the areas that it believes are the root causes of the human civilization's corruption and demise, the two things that they think cause widespread ignorance and injustice in society. The League has acted as a self-appointed check on human depravity for thousands of years. The organization's many heinous activities include the sacking of Rome, the outbreak of the Black Plague, the Great London Fire, and Gotham's greatest economic depression. In the film Batman Begins, Ra's al Ghul first commanded the League of Shadows, which was later led by his daughter Talia in The Dark Knight Rises. Former soldiers, mercenaries, assassins, minor criminals, and ordinary civilians are only a few among the many who have pledged allegiance to the League of Shadows. However, they all have one thing in common. They all despise what they perceive to be evil and want to serve a cause that they consider being the deliverer of absolute justice. Every member of the League of Shadows is fanatically devoted to the cause of the League. It is this zeal that drives the fighters to believe that they are expendable, that their life is worthless if they are not carrying out the League's goals. The League is shown to have been based on a Himalayan peak during the time period in Nolan's movies, though other bases around the world are said to have existed. In Batman Begins, Bruce Wayne, who is played by Christian Bale, joined the League of Shadows in order to find a way to combat injustice effectively. He was prematurely scarred by his parents' death during the Gotham Great Depression, but he had learned to abandon the thought of vengeance as it would bring him no peace.
What stopped it?
Vengeance?
That's no help to me.
Why, Bruce?
While wandering the world, a man who called himself Ducard, played by Liam Neeson, and who we later find out to be Ra's al Ghul himself, recruited him from a Bhutanese jail, seeing enormous promise in the aggressive young man.
The path of the League of Shadows.
Bruce was ordered to pose as an executioner during his concluding training test, which is when he discovered the true objective of the League that had been hidden from him for so long. The commander of the League wanted him to spearhead a mission to destroy the city of his birth. In retaliation, Bruce defiantly blew up their base, leaving the man he thought to be Ra's al Ghul to perish there. However, he managed to ensure the safety of Ducard, his teacher and recruiter. Bruce returned to Gotham 7 years after his hiatus from life in the city and vowed to weed out the city's criminals and the corrupt, all on his own. To carry out his plan, he took on the persona of Batman, a mysterious, inscrutable vigilante.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
He utilised Ducard's teachings in martial arts, stealth, intimidation, and theatricality to carry out his heists. In the meantime, the League was busy introducing a fear toxin made from a hallucinogenic blue flower cultivated near their Himalayan stronghold into Gotham by enlisting the help of some of Gotham's most notorious criminals. Most notably, Carmine Falcone, played by Tom Wilkinson, and the Scarecrow, played by Cillian Murphy. Following Batman's successful arrest of both men, the League was rushed into carrying out their plan sooner than intended, and Ducard confessed to Bruce that he was, in fact, Ra's al Ghul. The League began vaporizing the city's water supply, which had been polluted by the toxin, using a microwave emitter taken from Wayne Enterprises. Everyone who inhaled the chemical was reduced to a frenzied panic that led them to turning on each other. With the assistance of Jim Gordon, Batman was able to put a stop to the League before it vaporized all of the city's water. In the process, Batman abandoned Ra's on a train that derailed, killing him in the collision and accompanying explosion. When talking about the League's inclusion in the events that unfold in The Dark Knight Rises, Christopher Nolan said, "I knew that the League of Shadows had to come back. I knew that we had to return to Batman Begins and those philosophical ideas of Ra's al Ghul's, those challenges that all had to come back." The events of The Dark Knight Rises take place after Ra's al Ghul's death. His daughter, Talia al Ghul, played by Marion Cotillard, resented Bruce Wayne for her father's death. She forgave her father and sought justice for his death. She hoped to complete her father's unfinished work with the assistance of Bane, played by Tom Hardy. He had become infamous as a mercenary with a ruthless reputation after his banishment from the League. Talia took on the fictitious identity of a woman named Miranda Tate and moved to Gotham, where she became a stockholder and board member of Wayne Enterprises. She wanted to fund the development of a nuclear fusion reactor, the same nuclear reactor for which Bane would later kidnap Dr. Pavel in the hopes of creating a nuclear weapon. After Bruce lost his income due to questionable investments made during the League's attack on the Gotham Stock Exchange, Talia stepped forward. She took charge of Wayne Enterprises and the reactor. Batman requested for Selina Kyle, played by Anne Hathaway, to take him to Bane, where Bane challenged Batman to a duel in his underground hideout in the drains of Gotham. It is here that he explains to Bruce his plan to fulfill Ra's al Ghul's destiny by destroying Gotham. After he lost the duel, Bruce was thrown into the pit to watch the couple's evil plan unfold and suffer helplessly. The League of Shadows used Gotham's older orphans as well as John Daggett's construction teams as labour to spread explosive cement in the sewers throughout the city. This cement was to be eventually detonated. Bane kept the city prisoner in a phony revolution, posing as its liberator. The League of Shadows ranks grew as former Blackgate captives and others joined their army. Talia continued to utilise her fake alias to take advantage of Batman's friends at every chance she got. It was through these means that she could inform Bane about a meeting with the US Special Forces within the city and dupe Gordon's gang of cops into thinking a decoy truck had the nuclear weapon. Talia exposed herself to Batman after attempting unsuccessfully to ignite the bomb and fleeing City Hall to assure its detonation. Selina shot Bane dead on the Batpod while Batman fired at Talia's bombs truck in his aerial aircraft, the Bat, leading to its crash and causing her death, still sure that her plot to annihilate Gotham was unstoppable. The GCPD killed or apprehended the other members of the League of Shadows in the city. Batman managed to rescue the city by launching the bomb over water before it detonated. Some of the deadly members. The League of Shadows has trained some of DC's most lethal killers. Lady Shiva, the greatest martial artist of all time, is among them. David Kane, Merlin, Talia al Ghul, Nissa Radko, Deathstroke, and many more noteworthy individuals are or were members of the League. Cassandra Cain, the ex-Batgirl, and Damian Wayne, who later became Robin, were also trained by the League.
To conquer fear, you must become fear. You must bask in the fear of other men.
Ra's al Ghul, the League of Assassins creator and commander, is a supervillain and one of Batman's most formidable adversaries. He is a criminal genius and a former healer whose name translates to Head of the Devil. Raz's objective in most myths is to preserve the Earth from ecological disaster, either by eliminating the majority of the planet's inhabitants or putting the globe under his dominion. Ra's al Ghul's greatest asset, while being a skilled strategist with expertise in many domains, is his Lazarus Pit, which have allowed him to survive for decades and even revive himself from death. Under the guise of Henry Ducard, Ra's al Ghul mentored and trained Bruce Wayne before recruiting him into the League of Shadows to destroy Gotham City. Bruce disobeyed the organization, decimated his Gotham Underworld associates, and brought Ra's down. Talia, Bruce's later romantic interest and antagonist, was Raz's daughter. He was played as an older man by Liam Neeson in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises, and as a young adult by Josh Pence in The Dark Knight Rises. Bane is a supervillain and assassin who escaped from an island jail in South America. Bane possesses abnormal physical strength as a consequence of trials with a form of the drug Venom. After shattering Batman's back, he came to be known as the Man Who Broke the Bat, forcing Bruce Wayne to abandon the Batman identity while he recovered. Bane was Talia's companion and guardian, as well as the League of Shadows field commander. He was a formidable opponent in both strategy and physical warfare. He vanquished Batman in a fight and used his exceptional speaking skills to fool the residents of Gotham City until Batman's recovery and return. Bane's physical appearance was determined by his mark, which reduced the agonizing anguish that tormented his body to tolerable levels. He mostly expressed his individuality through his eyes. In The Dark Knight Rises, Tom Hardy played this role. Talia al Ghul is Ra's al Ghul's daughter. She is both Batman's sweetheart and his adversary. She is also Damian Wayne's mother. Talia became the League of Shadows leader after her father died. She took up his mantle as his heir and diligently persuaded the destruction of Gotham City with the help of her ally Bane. While posing as the affluent businesswoman and philanthropist Miranda Tate, she duped Bruce Wayne and his friends. In The Dark Knight Rises, she was played by Marion Cotillard as an adult, Joey King as an older child, and Harry Coles as a young child. Lady Shiva is one of the DC Universe's most lethal assassins. She is a hired assassin who specialises in bare-handed killings. Shiva has also trained Tim Drake, the third Robin. Cassandra Cain, Shiva's daughter, goes on to eventually become the new Batgirl. She has been increasingly connected with Batman and other similar characters, both as an adversary and an ally. She is a martial arts master and one of the most talented fighters in the DC universe. She is one of the most notable members of the League of Shadows. David Kane was a brilliant assassin, Ra's al Ghul's follower in the League of Shadows, Bruce Wayne's former tutor, Lady Shiver's former lover, and Cassandra Cain's father. Kane lives by his own code of conduct and is only loyal to the highest bidder. Nyssa, also known as Nyssa al Ghul, is a former League of Shadows member and Team Arrow ally. Nyssa is also the late Ra's al Ghul's and Emilia Ratiko's daughter, the younger paternal half-sister of Talia al Ghul, and the younger maternal half-sister of Sarah Khan. She is also Sarah Lance's ex-lover and the late Laurel Lance's former mentor and close friend. Nyssa rescued Sarah from Lian Yu and transported her to Nanda Parbat for training with the League. Nyssa made the personal decision to disband the League of Shadows and destroy Ra's al Ghul's ring. She also demolished the Lazarus Pit shortly after Sarah Lance's resurrection to prevent it from being used ever again. Deathstroke, the Terminator, most often known as just Deathstroke, is a DC Comics supervillain. Slade Wilson, who first appeared in New Teen Titans #2, is a former soldier turned mercenary and assassin hired by anyone with the highest offer. He is frequently regarded as a Teen Titans foe and Dick Grayson's arch nemesis. Deathstroke has often confronted Batman owing to contracts inside Gotham or issues involving the Justice League. He is also the father of Grant, Joseph, and Rose Wilson, all of whom have been members or opponents of the Teen Titans. He is one of the League of Shadows' most influential members.
Have we started the fire?
Yes, the fire rises.
What makes the group so powerful? The League of Shadows is not just a formidable group because of its ideologies, but also because of its assassins and the power it possesses over its followers. The followers of the League are fanatics and totally convinced of the cause, willing to give up their lives and even take 1,000,000 others if they believe that it will serve the League's purpose. The fanatical frenzy is something that the League has weaponized on many occasions. The skilled assassins, who make up the core of the League, make it even more deadly, as these supervillain fighters have the might, sheer force, wit, and courage to battle even the most powerful of superheroes. While the League may not exist in its full force in the present, the members of the League and its ideologies definitely cannot ever be toyed with.
You are ready to lead these men. You are ready to become a member of the League of Shadows.
Conclusion. While the League of Shadows was once a powerful and influential group at its height, it is unfortunate that it has been pushed to the fringes in recent years. We can only hope that it comes back with a bang in the newer Batman movies because, let's face it, half the fun of watching superhero movies is having the hero destroy an intelligent, well-matched villain. And there are none so competent, skilled, or any more sinister than the members of the League of Shadows. We're sure that Batman superfans and supervillain enjoyers are eagerly awaiting the League of Shadows' return. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.
I watched him die.
But is Ra's al Ghul immortal?